All right, so I'm here with Dave. Funny enough, we were just looking at the time. We were just chatting a second before we started recording, and the time was 1:11, 1:11. You know, all those numbers, man.
Yep.
So you guys probably saw my previous video about this because I recorded actually yesterday, but you guys won't be able to see this for days and days and days later. Like I said, by the time you see this, we're already back home. So this is basically day 3 of our trip out here, and we went to Oregon, spent actually technically 3 days, our 3rd day here, and then today, and actually a little while, we're heading over to James Gilliland's ranch, the ECETI ranch, for a little bit of what we'll call spiritual enlightenment and maybe some interesting things to see at night in the night skies. But I want to kind of recap on that last video. You know, it's very odd. My wife has this thing, her neck cracking. You guys will remember that from last year, those of you who've been around for a while. And, you know, we're moving into this nice house, you know, that we never thought we could afford. Crypto, Veritasium's doing great, got the down payment money, like everything was just awesome. And I'm showing my wife, like, look at our bank account, this is so cool, you know, like, look at that much money's in there, I've never seen it in my life. And she was just like, yeah, just real depressed because of her neck. And she's like, it's in my head when you do that, it's not like an outside noise, it's in your body, so it's like clunk in my head. And it's just like driving me crazy, you know. I'm like, oh, so I mentioned to you guys, some of you were like, oh, I've had it, you know, I still have that problem, you know, whatever. So, like I said, Jean-Claude, he's actually that way with his wife. They're doing some meditation over here on the cliff's edge here. It's really beautiful out at this location we're at. We're not at ECETI yet, but she's like, you know, he does do Reiki. He's a Reiki master, and she has a dream the first night here. I also have a dream, but she... You know, mine was like this big dark wave coming and trying to like wash us away at our house, which we moved close by in real life, but like it wasn't our house, but it was. And then every time it would just stop, the wave would stop. So the destruction never happened, but this was an unbelievably sized wave, like scary, you know, take your breath away, scary. But it would never come. It would always get blocked. So she has the dream that Jean-Claude is over here. And he asked her, where was this at? Do you remember the location? And she's like, I don't remember. I could not tell you where it was at. But in the dream, he's doing Reiki healing on her neck. And she's like, Joe, I forgot I had the dream until you start talking about your tidal wave dream. And they're talking about the dream. And I'm like, oh my God, I had a dream last night too. And then it finally dawned on her. And she's like, oh my God, my neck. Yeah, because my neck, like I can barely hear it. Like I think it's going away finally. And that's when I said, like, I was like, man, I was about to ask you that 3 or 4 days ago. How's your neck doing? And I totally forgot to ask you. And now that you're saying this, she's like, yeah, oh my God, he was healing me in my dream. I was like, holy crap, what the hell's going on here? This is amazing. So anyway, I just want to give that little recap. It's just a freaking amazing, like just incredible. We went whitewater rafting yesterday, all of us. Yeah. And it was just us 5 in the raft and then the guide, of course, in the back, and had an absolutely wonderful, like a magical time. And all the water that's rushing down this river is actually being fed from the mountain that we see from James's property, you know, the mountain. And that's where the runoff is from. So it's like, you know, we're getting hit with the water and it's all over my face and my mouth. I don't even care. I'm drinking it. Like it's in me. I'm just sucking it down. I don't care.
It was sweet.
It was good to taste the water, man.
Mount Adam's sweet water.
Seriously. So we just had a great time, you know. It was really nice, real peaceful. And I'm like, oh,
jumping off bridges.
Yeah, the guide stops. He's like, all right, here's a bridge overhang. You can jump off if you want. All right, so we go up there and we're jumping off into this freezing 40-degree water. But of course, we got the wetsuits and everything on. And again, just a great experience. So we, you know, we came back, whatever. And we're here today, and we're about to leave to go there. But he and I decided, you know, both knew like we need to do another video. Like I kind of alluded to it a little bit in the first video you guys saw before this. So I mean, aside from him one time saying, hey Joe, I'd like your mom to give me a reading. Right. And he's like, hey, here's my son, here's me, the burrito, you know, whatever.
That's right, Chipotle.
I'm the guy over on this side. And I'm like, that's all I knew of him. He was a subscriber, he got into crypto, he wanted a reading, you know. That was it. So I didn't know he was the guy coming to the Money Changers event with Eric and whatnot. And that came over to our house. Remember that? They stayed in the RV and all that. And I helped them in the Sarasota event. But he came to their first event, decided I'm going to their second event in California. met Bix and all that. Then he's like, oh, well, you're going over to Florida. Yeah, I'll go. You know, if you want my help, I'll come. They're like, yeah, come. So they told me, hey, this guy David's coming. Well, I didn't know it was that David in the psychic reading thing my mom gave, but not that it would have mattered anyways. But at least I say, oh, okay, it's him. That's cool. And they're like, you know, can he come to your house too? I'm like, absolutely, yeah. Give him the address. So he came over, and then every night we were all together every night from there. It was a good time. And he told me some personal stories and things, and that was cool. And remember, Jean-Claude had already come way before he came to meet us. And it was when Jean-Claude came, he told us he already went to the ECETI ranch and, you know, had some amazing experiences there and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I've always heard about that place. I've seen the videos from years ago, you know. I was like, yeah. I was like, so when you get back to Canada, you guys want to go again? And he's like, absolutely. Let's hook up. Let's do this. So we all set this up to, not including him, set it up. So just him and his wife, me and my wife. And we set this date, the day you're seeing us here, you know, the 23rd to the 28th. And I knew, like right after that, I had to bring him. I just knew it. So I didn't ask Jean-Claude, like, hey, do you mind if, you know, can I bring a third person? It was more or less, Dave's coming, and I hope you don't mind. And even if you do mind, as much as I love you guys, I'm gonna fight you on it. Like, I'd fight him on it. Like, please, I just like, trust me. This guy needs to come be a part of this. For whatever reasons, I can't tell you because I don't know, but I know he needs to come. It'd have been one of those conversations, and knowing the way they are, they would have been like, oh, Joe, we're not even gonna fight back. They're like, if it means that much, absolutely come. I know they would do that, but again, Jean-Claude has some abilities. He said, Joe, does he ever? And we already meditated on that, and we knew once we did that, that guy needs to be a part of this. So it was great, a really great time. So anyways, some personal things with him and a family member of his, and like that's where we've all realized that's why he needs to be here. And we all can see the big picture now. And again, it was like the first night we're all eating dinner, and they told you some things, you know, psychically. Again, Jean-Claude and his wife got to have some ability there. And he did some things with that night, and the next, and had a crazy story to tell us the next day and things like that. And, you know, it was just really neat. But honestly, this video was just like this. There's not some giant punchline or, oh my God, like that. It's just like maybe someone just needs to hear this chat we're having, and how things have just kind of happened. And again, we're recording this now. This is day 3 of us being here in Oregon. We have not even stepped foot on James's property yet. And I think all of us are like, oh my gosh, if this is already happening to us, what do we? Yeah,
what's just getting started,
right? How many more videos are you gonna see of me after this? Oh my God, or maybe none. Maybe this whole thing is for this guy, and we're just hanging out. You know, I don't know, and I don't care because it's gonna be fun anyways. But anyway, so I guess that's kind of the lead into all this. You know, he's gonna, whatever he decides he wants to tell you about his experiences so far, and or his family member, and how this kind of relates. Take it away.
All right, great. Well, thanks, Joe. I really appreciate everything. Just being here, being invited, hanging out with you in Florida.
Yeah,
it was all just great. I think it was only a few minutes by the time I'd been at your house. I'm already riding the Apocalypse Strike. And we're racing down the street.
The Apocalypse Strike. I'm like, everybody that visits, you have to ride this. You're not allowed not to ride it. You're riding the Apocalypse Strike.
Yeah, it's your initiation.
Yeah, so like we're on the golf cart, he's on that thing, he's flying by us.
Evelyn's on the scooter, right? Yeah. The little electric bike.
We're all flying up and down the street.
I'm doing GPS. Okay, how fast are we going? Anyway, it's a ball.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm trying to think about how do I give you the Reader's Digest version of the story, because it spans a lot of events and a lot of time. But it involves a family member of mine, a very close family member, and if you're that family member, you'll know I'm talking about you. But I'm trying to, be respectful of privacy and so on. So the story kind of goes back to 2012, and that, 2012 was a big spiritual year. December, whatever,
Mayan calendar, all that stuff.
Yeah, somewhere in mid-late December. It's supposed to be a big deal. And October that year, I got a call from this family member, and they said, yeah, I bought a one-way ticket to go to Sri Lanka. I go, one-way ticket? Sri Lanka? What? Where's this coming from? And then within a span of about a week, a bunch of really crazy supernatural type things started happening. And
to them,
yeah. And kind of tangentially to me as well. So, but yeah, primarily them. So a day or two later, they're getting ready to leave where they're living in the western states here. I live in California, and they're somewhere north of me. And they had this like entity just showed up in the middle of the night while they're, you know, just awake, 3 in the morning. This thing shows up, this big figure, and it spoke to him, to this family member. Said, "There's no need to be afraid. I'm here for you." So, like, wow, that's pretty wild. We don't usually get that. And there's more to that story, but that's, again, Reader's Digest version. Then, the next couple of days, this person's getting downloads, like, all kinds of, like, knowledge they don't know where it's coming from, like, volumes and volumes of all this knowing and stuff. And so, we're on the phone for about 3.5 hours one day, again, within the same, about 1 week period of time. And a spiritual person I work with, I ran a bunch of the stuff that I'm hearing from my family member about this, and they go, "Yep, that's what this is. That person was a guide, and you know, this thing they're talking about the different realms of the spirit world, that model they described is correct. It's normal and everything, and also the stuff they're saying is true." So, you know, and she did some stuff with me, gave me some tools. You know, Joe knows this thing about the water bottle story, which is a thing where it's really around defining a space around you and then expanding that and just being present to what's in that space. And I remember she moved the water bottles behind her, and I'm just like, whoa, because there's like 4 water bottles, 2 behind me, 2 in front of me. We're knee-to-knee chairs in this office, privately talking. And she said, "I'm just going to do this thing with you." She put the water bottles around me, and then she moved them behind her. And it's like, whoa. That's just this wave of like compassion and love and emotion coming over me. It's like, what the hell is going on here? I'm open to this stuff, but never experienced it. I didn't see this coming.
You weren't expecting that.
Yeah, so...
Water bottle, like what? What are you doing right now?
Yeah.
And then bang.
So, you know, I didn't know it, but later on I'm realizing this is a tool, like a tool in the spiritual toolbox that I'm being introduced to, and I don't know how it's going to be relevant, how I'm going to use it. I don't even know it's a tool. It's just a thing that I experienced. Later on it made sense. And that's what's going on here, Joe. There's like... a lot of stuff makes sense later on. You just have to be kind of open to what's happening and not prejudge it. And
yep.
As Joe was saying, I hope that somewhere in this, if you're experiencing something and you're not sure what to make of it, and it's not the normal kind of thing, and it's maybe touching on supernatural stuff, spiritual stuff, maybe just emotional stuff, maybe just a challenge you're having in your life. I'm hoping there's something here that kind of gives you a little key to unlock something that opens you up to a better possibility. I think that's kind of a way to describe. So anyway, fast forward, again, within the same week, I'm invited by this lady that I talked to about my family member, the water bottle lady, we'll call her.
Yeah.
Really sweet lady. Her name's Becky, actually. And so, hi, Becky. And so she invited me to a spiritual workshop she was doing in the mountains, the Sierra Mountains of California, which I'm thinking, man, I got stuff I need to do. But yet, I kind of know I need to go there. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what this workshop's completely about. So I go there, and there's all these like spiritual people there, and I'm just like, you know, regular guy, right? Yeah. I say I'm Joe Lunchbucket, and they're all these, you know, woo-woo spiritual people. But I got introduced to this long day's events, a lot of tools, and a lot of spiritual things. And that night when I'm driving back, this family member calls me. That night. And this is all happening within about a week time, so it's this very intense period.
And they gave you additional tools and teachings and things while you were there.
Yeah, and they're not saying, here's a tool, here's a tool, here's a tool. I'm just seeing them do these various things. Yeah. And so I get this call from this family member saying, I am being haunted by this entity, this black, you know, nebulous form entity, and it's coming near me, and when it comes near me...
And your family member is still in this Sri Lanka, right?
No, they're not yet in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is coming, and my interpretation of this is all a precursor to kind of the, I don't know, something got kind of stirred up spiritually because he's going to Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Right? So, and this person is spiritually oriented. Like, they've meditated and things. They have a spiritual kind of bent to them, but this is all really new experiences for them and me. So, this is all precursor to Sri Lanka. So I'm driving, I find a place to stop, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, they're telling me about this entity coming near them, and wherever they come close, it'd make them cold in that area. So let's say they're coming by, you know, the shoulder, that area get cold, they'd move away, and they'd be down on the floor, and they'd talk to this family member saying, please help me. And it's a dark entity, so it's like, what's up with this? And it goes away, it disappears, and it makes noise in other parts of the house, so it's a poltergeist. So I'm thinking, okay, I've been introduced to these tools. Let me see if I can kind of mash this stuff together and do something. So the first thing I did the water bottles. 2 by me and the 2 way up where this person's living up in the north. And I filled that with my love. And just saturate with that. So now we're in the same space. And I did this prayer that I learned about when I was up at that event, that spiritual workshop. And I asked them, okay, a short little prayer, just real specific. Ask for protection, banish the entity, protection, and restore their comfort. Really simple prayer. A little bit longer, but that was the essence. And I asked, what are you noticing? And they saw like a bunch of angels come around them, protect them, like a circle of angels. And they come spinning around and circles, the circle kept moving faster and faster, 4 angels around them. And then it turned into like this spinning ball of angelness, sphere surrounding them. And it expanded to encompass, the whole room and the house and the property is at. And beams of light, shooting out, just apparently repelling entities. And then a column of light surrounding them to restore their comfort. And then, these golden sparkles. I was like, wow. Then after that, they said the room was really clear and we had this conversation and it was really positive conversation. So they went from feeling really fearful to like feeling just really clear and wonderful. And
now had you not done the water bottle thing and then the next step with the same lady taking you to the retreat, what would you have done that? I mean, what could you possibly have said? You would have thought of just the normal stuff, not this, woo-woo, hey, here's how to deal with that stuff. Like, that's just, and again, it happened the night you leave that place. Yeah. On the way home, the call comes in. Yeah. I'm being, like, bothered and tormented like by these things, whatever's going on here. What do I do? And they're somewhere very far away where you can't help them. Yeah. Like, again, what are the chances?
Yeah, it only makes sense looking back.
Yeah.
Like, while you're going through it serially, like in series sequence, it's like, I don't know why this makes sense, but I'm going to kind of intuitively trust that this is something I need to be doing. And that was kind of the theme for me. So maybe one piece of this for folks is just be open to other possibilities you weren't expecting, and then just follow it and see where it take you. I'm not saying just be random about everything, but if you get this intuitive guidance, just kind of be listening for that. And I'm not like I'm not Jean-Claude. I'm not like some awesome spiritual person, but I'm open to it. I'm receptive, and so is this family member. So yeah, good point that you made there, Joe. So anyway, they felt a lot better after that, and it was really cool how I just, because of these series of events and because I was just open and not closing the door on stuff, that I had the tools to help. So now other stuff happened, and we're really just trying to get the Reader's Digest, even though it's turning into a long video. This person still like saw entities and things, which, Joe, I haven't really know if I talked a lot about this, but they saw other entities. So, and then that passage of their life passed, and now they're sort of in Muggle world where they like don't see the entities and they kind of miss it, but they kind of don't because it was a little bit scary too.
Yeah.
But they had this kind of connection with another realm, let's say. So now we fast forward from 2012 to about you're about 5.5 years later now, 2018 in spring, early summer. And here, actually in March, I run into these Money Changers guys. And I didn't know that, but that was starting a series of events where I would be invited to and then meet Joe, and then Joe inviting me to this event here, which is just...
Right, and I have to tell you, I swear I'm not psychic or anything. I don't, but there was something telling me, like, I just knew. It wasn't even it's not like something was telling me. It was just like, I know I have to bring him. I could have asked so many different people, hey, you got to come with us. Me and my wife, and Jean-Claude, you got to come with us. And every one of them probably would have said, okay, yeah, sure, let's go.
Right.
But I didn't ask anybody else. It was this guy. Like, I have to bring him. Yeah. And I didn't know, like, a lot of the stories. I mean, you did tell me the water bottle thing. I remember that night at my house. But I just, like, I just knew. I already knew, like, this guy, he's coming. So I asked him. He could have said no, but I was like, now I've got to at least ask him because I feel like I have to. And
it was one of the easiest yeses
it was, it was the easiest yes ever. Yeah, I'll be there for sure. So, anyways, continue.
No, thanks. No, that's perfect, Joe. And yeah, it's like, there's a lot we still don't know about each other, but you just knew that you knew. Yeah. And I'm just super grateful because this is one of those things where everything is validating. This is what needs to be happening. I need to be here, and as you're indicating. Yeah. And it's playing out from within the first what, 8 hours, 6 hours we're together.
That's why we're like, listen, and we're not saying that we know when we get to James's place it's going to be crazy. We don't know that. We have no idea what to expect. Yeah. However, we're all in the mindset of if what we've just experienced the last 2 days has any kind of thing whatsoever to do with James, it's like,
right,
it's fixing to get crazy good. I think over there, but maybe not. Maybe there's just a little bit to this that he needed it, or all of us. We don't know. This is only day 3 really, and it hasn't even started yet. Like again, we got to go to the ranch and then hopefully some cool things. But Jean-Claude's told us some things when he got there, and this happened, and we saw that, and this, and then felt this, and like, cool. We're like, just the woo-woo side of me is like, oh, that's awesome, that's cool. But if some kind of spiritual awakening of some sort, or just something new that I wasn't expecting happens, hey, I'm all for it. Let's go.
And Jean-Claude, he is convinced that this is just the warm up to the main event.
Yeah, because Jean-Claude has already taken a couple of light years ahead on his own property to do some things spiritually that he knows he needs to do, and he's like, I can't. I got started early. Like he's like, I'm moving and shaking things over on my own property because some of the things I learned here and figured out here that tie back into my own property where he lives, and he showed us pictures of him, his wife.
Oh yeah,
they've got rock outcroppings and things on their property, and the whatever the hell you call it, like it's not really an aura because it's not around her, like the person per se, but like it was literally like she's in the background and right in the front, all the way across the entire screen, like this whole screen, just picture where my finger is, all the way over here, past him, back, all up here, like a fire, if you will, that's transparent, or translucent, I guess, pinkish, purple, orange, these weird colors, like this beautiful like rainbow of colors but like a fire looking thing. And then there's another one. I mean, it's just insane. And then he's like, and then all of a sudden there's this giant rock. He's like, listen, our kids know the property, every inch of the property. They play, they do everything out there. We know the property. We meditate out there. We walk it. I mean, we're not going to find a sizable rock that, where'd that come from? Like, and yet this giant rock is staring at him. He's like, I'm sitting over here and I see this thing like twinkling at me, and he's like,
what the heck?
The hell is that? So he walks over to it. It's a rock. It's got these quartz or some kind of crystals. We're not sure what they are. He wasn't 100% sure, but he showed us a picture of it. There's some kind of crystals clearly visible in the rock. He's like, yeah, it was like, getting my attention through the sunlight. And I'm like, what? And he's like, hey, do you remember that rock? And no, kids, come here. No, I don't ever seen that before. It was just funny, weird thing is all I'm saying here. Yeah. Maybe it was there. Maybe you just didn't see it. Whatever. But those pictures I saw show like this aura thing in the front of them numerous times. And then he takes a picture, him right here, over where we are today at this rock outcropping, looking off a cliff, which I've got some beautiful pictures I'll probably put on this video for you anyways. Yeah. And right where my hands are, up and down here on this side, like if this was a picture, this entire area was like blur, like a blurry, like almost like we kept using the predator term, when the predator goes into cloak mode, but you can kind of see him, but not really. It was like that. Right through here. The rest of the picture was completely fine.
That's the one Jean-Claude took actually yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had me jumping.
Yeah, we were jumping. Cool effect to make it look like we're falling off a cliff or something, And we were taking take 1, take 2 because we were trying to click the button, perfectly.
Timing.
And then he's like, man, look at this. It's weird. The whole side's like something's there, but it's like blurry, whatever that is. Yeah. So just a little anomaly, basically. But again,
more stuff.
It's more. It makes me look at it a little differently than just an anomaly, considering some interesting things have just happened over the last 2 days, and that was yesterday. Yeah. So like, come on, just add that, put that in there. That's another thing.
And then if I did continue, like what happened, like we sat down at dinner within, I don't know, maybe within like 6 hours of us meeting at the airport, at the PDX airport. So it's Jean-Claude and Sarah and Joe and Evelyn and me, and we're sitting at dinner, and then Joe says, hey Dave, tell Jean-Claude about the water bottle story. Yeah. It's like, really? Oh, all right. So I'm telling the story, basically what I shared with you earlier with a little more detail. And then he says, Dave, here's what I'm seeing. He almost kind of cut me off. I was pretty much done, but he's like, I got to tell you something. I'm getting a video of your family member, and I'm seeing this like dark tornado, and they're getting drawn down into it, this dark kind of ominous tornado. And they're kind of trying to fight their way out of it, but it's trying to draw them down. And, I think they have the capacity to kind of pull out of it, but there's this kind of tug-of-war thing going on between kind of, he didn't really say good and evil, but it was like dark and light.
It was,
And this person's, has some influences from some individuals that are kind of drawing them down. So this whole experience, I'm kind of feeling like, and we're all feeling this kind of weird spiritual positive energy going on, and this connection with people like Jean-Claude and Sarah, which are both gifted, very much. So, and they're both, by the way, they were both having a download while I was telling that story. Both of them, they're like both like wanting to talk, and so it's very compelling, very confirming.
Yeah.
So that night, I decided to do a prayer. It's actually two prayers. One prayer was like the one I did for this family member when I was coming back from that spiritual workshop thing. That really helped them. Where the angels, the swirling circle of angels came up, 4 angels, and those are archangels, by the way. And because those are the ones I prayed to. So I did a very similar kind of prayer for this person, and at the end of the prayer, I got this like never before full body, it's called a GSR, galvanic skin response, where you just get like goosebumps over your entire body, like super intense. I've never ever had a full body that intensity for like 25-30 seconds. It's like, well, that's confirmation. Like right when I said like amen, boom, this happens. And then I did another prayer like this. I was just in my hotel room.
Yeah.
Right? That's a couple doors down from where you guys are staying. And I don't know if you noticed this energy coming your way. But I did another prayer, actually for myself, for guidance and so on. And then, boom, full-on confirmation there. And then that 4 in the morning, the next morning, I went out and I'm using the night vision goggles and looking for stuff.
And again, we're not at the property yet. He was just doing it here.
Yeah, just seeing what I pick up some floaty things like Cliff High talks about. And I'm not seeing a lot, but it was a really beautiful morning, and the sun is starting to make the sky just hints of turning like indigo blue and purplish. And it's still dark. You still see stars everywhere. And it's just beautiful, and I just put out a feeling of gratitude, and then boom, full body thing again. So that's the 3rd time, and then I'm in the hotel room, and I'm doing another thing. I forget what it was, but another kind of communication with like, whatever my guides are. I don't really know yet. I haven't been introduced to them. I don't know their names, but I'm open to this. I did another little prayer, and a prayer asking if my prayers have been delivered to this family member. Like, has that, been a positive, like, tangible delivery in whatever form? And boom, full body confirmation, galvanic skin response, and every time, same intensity, full body, lasted 25-30 seconds. And I'm just saying thank you all along the way, because I think it's important to give that feedback to, the ethereal realm, those entities there, whatever they are. And please know, I'm not super educated, super knowledgeable. I'm just open, and I'm listening and paying attention and trying to apply what I'm learning.
Right, and trying to describe it too.
Yeah.
What's happening.
Yeah. And then I get back into bed, and I'm all cozy and warm, because some people might say, dude, you just got to chill. Come on. We all get goosebumps, a little chill, right? It's like, all right, okay, I'm willing to consider that, but I've never, ever had this in my entire
Well, when we were eating the first
living.
night, when we ate at that restaurant, when they were talking to you and stuff, and when they're both kind of like fighting to talk because they like psychically need to tell you something or whatever.
Yeah.
I like twice. I sat there, goosebump. Now I didn't have the full body, but it was like my upper body was goosebump, and I had nothing. I was just listening.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't for me, and I wasn't. But I was like, ooh, I just got goosebumps. Like out of nowhere, and it wasn't like we were in a cold place either. By the way, we were inside, and it wasn't like a cold. When you're in a restaurant, you need a jacket. It was like it was fine.
Yeah.
Especially for me, and then a few minutes later, they're talking, doing their thing, and then.
Yeah.
Damn, got it
what
again.
was that?
Dang, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah.
And that was it 2 times.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and they weren't talking about me at all. Like it wasn't for me, but I'm like, whoa, I don't normally just get a upper body goosebump thing out of nowhere. So I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Unless you experience it in the manner that we did, you go, that's just
interesting,
normal, but it's not. And so now I'm in bed because I got up kind of early, and we're going to get together later, some hours later for breakfast. So I get back in bed, and I'm all toasty warm. Key point, toasty warm. And I did the water bottle thing actually for us, for Joe and Evelyn and me and Jean-Claude and Sarah. They're in another building. And I'm so grateful for this experience and all the great stuff that's happening. I can't put it into words that really make sense, but I'm just absolutely grateful. I just wanted to just express that. And so I did it in kind of prayer form. And please know, I'm not a prayer.
Yeah.
It's not something I do normally. This is really exceptional. And Jean-Claude is saying, I think it was yesterday as a date where like it's confirmation of some stuff. There's like a window of time.
Yep.
Where
today's the date that
things are falling into place.
Yes. And that was yesterday.
And I'm feeling like those last week or so, and even when I was in Poland a couple weeks before, I felt the onset of this stuff happening.
Yeah, like he's like, look, this tomorrow, meaning I guess today technically, would be. He's like, okay, you have your stuff, like all hands on deck.
Right.
We're moving forward with whatever things in your life you're like focused on. Yeah, go.
Yeah.
And he says, it's kind of the same way from the opposite, the bad guys, so to speak, or the dark energy. It's like their hands. Yeah, as you can see, look what's happening in politics. Everyone getting exposed. Like it's all hands on deck there too.
No kidding, man.
But like for us too, like this is it. You have dreams and hopes and aspirations, and you're gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Like you really set on this thing. Like this is it. Okay, start.
Yeah.
It starts tomorrow, which is today. And I'm not sure if he was talking on like an astrological alignment level kind of a thing, or just something else, because he did talk about some kind of planetary thing. But
he's talking about like what Heidi was talking about and stuff. But so anyway, I'm in bed and I'm tucked in there and do the water bottle thing and gratitude, and then boom, remember, I'm toasty warm, full body confirmation again, galvanic skin response. And Jean-Claude, he explained how that works, and he says we have these receivers in our cellular makeup, and when there's certain energetic stuff coming our way, it can manifest as this crazy goosebump thing. It's galvanic skin response, or GSR, some people call it. So, and then I had a sixth one last night, because I'm out at these rocks, this cliff that Joe and I were trying to do a recording because
it was so windy. Gorge. Yeah, we had to sit over here because it's too windy. You'd be hating the video because it'd be so loud and noisy. You'd be angry at it. So we're like, no, let's go where it's a little more peaceful and quiet.
And I was using the night vision goggles. And by the way, I didn't tell you, I saw 4 shooting stars all through the night vision. It was kind of cool.
Nice.
And I saw one thing that I think was a multiple power-up, UFO thing going off in the distance, which is kind of neat. A bunch of satellites going overhead, which is a totally different view. But anyway, I'm just standing there and going, I'm just, again, kind of like did this gratitude thing, and no water bottles, just real gratitude, and I was asking for guidance, and then boom, full on, galvanic skin response.
So prior to this few days here, 2 days, how many of those have you had?
0, none, ever. We've all had goosebumps,
but not this.
This is
full body
goosebumps, like on steroids, turbocharged, hyperspace, any special sauce, whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's super intense. You'll never
6 in a row basically.
Yeah.
Like
so
nuts.
Yeah, and so this is just really confirming, and then all the conversations we've had with these guys. So I don't know where this is going, but this family member has now been reaching out to me. Things have been quiet, and there's a lot of people concerned because recently this family member started going into a kind of
the tornado being pulled down.
We saw what looks like the tornado pulling them down. That happened about a year and a half ago, a year, 4 or 5 months ago. And it wasn't real pretty, and they seemed to pull out of it, and then it seemed like they were getting drawn down again. And Jean-Claude, he said to me, Dave, the night we were having dinner and you were telling me the water bottle story, I could see your energy was like real spiky. Now, it wasn't exactly talking aura, because I guess you can see colors and auras, and I asked him just a couple steps away from here yesterday, we were talking about it. I was like, what did you see? And he said, I just saw your energy was spiky. And then he said, but yesterday morning, this was after the dinner, after I'd had 5 of those crazy confirmation galvanic skin responses and the prayers and so on, he said, you just, like, all your energy is smooth. And he said, actually, before he said that, he said, Dave, you had some communication last night, didn't you? Yeah. I walked up to him in the parking lot because we were all getting together. You had some communication last night. And I said, yeah. What causes you to say that? And then he went on to say the energetic spikiness went to smooth, and he said, I had a conversation with your family member last night as well. So it's, we could go on, but I think this is, I'm guessing we probably covered the relevant stuff.
Yep.
And who knows what kind of magical stuff lies ahead.
Right. Like, I really wonder, like, what's...
yeah.
But I'm also willing to say it now, maybe nothing.
And
maybe
if that's
just a neat time out there. Okay, that's cool. We saw some things in the sky, whatever. Yeah. And that's it. Then that's it. That's fine. But
this trip was still complete.
Right. Well, I mean, we did the rafting together. This thing happened here. Like, it's already fine. I'm already wouldn't leave here saying this is great.
You bet.
But yeah, sure. We're both understand where we're going, and we feel like there's something kind of pulling us over there anyway. So
hang on.
We'll see what happens. If anything. But yeah, so we gotta check out. Actually, we're about to head over there. We're gonna eat lunch and then head over that way. So again, by the time you see the video, we're already home.
Yep.
And maybe I'll have some additional videos after this to share with you, possibly. Right. I think there'll be at least some, well, you know, something. I'm going to be taking pictures and video of us being there, so I'm sure there'll be just that at least. But we'll see. So take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.